So this is the tank that's getting overhauled. It's kind of a soft water tank. It's currently home to 3 Gardner Eye killifish. It was a breeding tank for the Australian killies, and then we moved those on. And this was going to become a breeding tank for either tiger teddies or the clown killies or the Nothobranchius rakovi. But then whilst at an auction, I bought these Gardner Eye, and they are the least Gardner Eye looking Gardner Eye I've ever seen. Now, we've been running this tiny little sponge filter for 2 years. It's been absolutely great. It's running off one of these tiny little USB air pumps, which you may or may not have seen before. They're pretty good. They generally only last about 9 months of continual use. So, even though we were going for an overhaul, thought, well, why not try out a different filter? And this is the filter I chose. I don't know why. If you've seen the basic series on the channel, then you'll know that I don't like hang-on backs. And I've certainly never owned anything with that name on it. Now I hear American people talk about it, and some of them think they make some pretty decent kit. Whether this is one of those things or not, I have no idea. I very much doubt it. Right guys, so this is the Qubiq 30. It's the worst manufactured tank I've ever had. Not one edge, not one, across the sides or the bottoms, not one lines up. Look, there is a 2mm gap there. Lines up at the other side, but yeah. But this is what we're working with. No, it's not perfectly clean. I've only got a finite amount of time before the kids are here, and then everything has to stop. So I'm really not that fast. I mean, the tank is not great. It arrived to me brand new, not great in the fact that the edges don't line up. I don't even use the light that it came with anymore. We use this, I don't actually know what that is. It's a remote control one that you can find on Amazon. It's about 50 quid. It's for plants. It's actually a really nice light. I have 2 of them, but only one on here. So yeah, I've got a rough idea of what I want in my head. I am not George Farmer. I am not Fish Shop Matt. I am not Dustin. This is going to be very simple. The plants aren't even here yet. But what we have got is some leftover Shrimp King soil. In fact, I don't even have my tweezers because Mrs. Shrimp is adamant that I have lost them. And she is correct. That I do not know where they are, and they are therefore lost. However, I don't really use tweezers, like ever. In fact, the only person that really does use tweezers is Mrs. Shrimp. And I'm pretty sure she had them last, down on her tank. But, yeah. So we got a plant with these big old pig's teats. Now the Denolay Shrimp King soil, yes, it's got shrimp in the title, and it's even got pictures of Caridina on the cover, but that doesn't mean that's all it's for. And for anybody who's thinking it, no, you do not need shrimp specific substrate for Neocaridina. You just don't. They will take almost anything. We've got them here in hard tap water, almost pure RO water. They don't have trouble reproducing. They don't have trouble really doing anything. But we use this soil in the zebra pleco tanks as well because of its buffering capability. There's hardly any plants in there. I think there's some cryptocorn meoya, but that was just put in there because I had it. And I thought, well, the soil's there, why not make use of the actual nutrients of the soil? I set up a few using the Shrimp King soil, and I didn't notice an ammonia spike. But if you do notice an ammonia spike for whatever reason, get yourself a proper test kit, and that means an NT Labs one, and it will test for free ammonia, not ammonium. If you don't know what the difference is on those, ammonium, NH4+, Doesn't really hurt your fish. It's like 100 times less toxic than ammonia. Do a video on that soon. I've got a lot to do before then. But anyway, let's just get this in and done. I always underestimate how much soil or substrate anything needs, because I'm, generally dealing with shrimp or cories, and cories don't generally need deep substrate. The longer their snout is, like the Corydoras barbatus, yeah, the Scleromystax barbatus, sorry, they do prefer a little bit of a deeper substrate, because cories generally don't dig past their eyeballs. They're not stupid. They're goofy, but they're not stupid. Oh, let's have some more. Why not? Celebrate. I don't really do banked stuff very often. As you can see, there's no background on this, no frosted white, no nothing, because whilst it would be nice if this one looked more better than it did, not going to be returning the blood red or the, well, maybe we'll put the red Amazon sword back in, or maybe that'll go somewhere else, but that was never in the plan. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought. That happens a lot. All right, though, it's not like Alzheimer's runs in the family. Oh, wait, it does. Now, yes, you can go and spend loads on root tabs if you like. That's absolutely brilliant. Go for it. Go for your life. Today, I'm going to be using these things. Easy Life root sticks. Purely because I bought them a long time ago when I was testing stuff. And yeah, they work. And I've got them. Would I buy them again? No. But I don't really do much with plants anyway, so it will be fine. How did they perform, I hear you say? Very well. They were growing crypts. Wendeti, Albida Brown, Oosterania, if that's how you say that, Mioya. And yeah, everything grew very well. Also, I think Rotala Blood Red grew fantastically with these. Unfortunately, when I went to sell them at one of the shows, I'd put them in pots to try and make it look like what people were used to. But by putting them in pots, you couldn't see the magnificent root structure that they had grown. This is a mix, and it's not supposed to be mixed. This is a base layer and a top layer from Tetra. But the reason they're mixed is that I'd already used them for a period of time. I'd love to tell you exactly what it is. In fact, I might have some of the top layer still around, but I couldn't tell you what the rest of it was. Nutribase rings a bell. If it's not that, please don't get mad. There's no need to alert the church elders. Everybody can just forgive, forget, move on. That'd be great. So it turns out I do have some left. And this is what the orange stuff is. What the cleary stuff underneath is, guys, I can't tell you guys, I'm sorry. This has not been washed. It is very, very dusty stuff from memory. So this is not going to be nice and clear probably by the end of this video or Christmas. It's like one of those Facebook memes. Show me you don't do planted tanks without telling me you don't do planted tanks. Jesus. Everybody still there? Jeez. Yeah, no, kind of forgot it was that dusty. But no matter. No matter. We've got we've got a night crew to deal with that. All the faith in the, yeah, of course. Right. So, very, very boring, very simple. And by the way, I'm really sorry about the audio. This is a rush thing. So No microphones. Now, I had a rock. I have a rock. Well, the aquascapers are going, what are you doing, you fool? Oh no. Yeah, I know. I'm an aquascaper. Just trying to make this tank look a little nicer, a little cleaner than it was. He says, put these massive, disgusting things up the side. Rule of thirds, dude. Don't put anything in the middle. Yeah. Okay. You do you, son. Now, initially the plan was, what was the plan? The plan was Pogo Stem and Hellfry, sort of up around here, with an Arbiter band coming down. And then maybe something at the front. I don't know. But I don't have any plans today, so that is for another day. That's for sure. Now, I don't know what you call this. Petrified wood or glimmer rock. I hate the term glimmer rock, I'll be honest with you. Just seems a little bit rhinestone cow. But anyway, don't worry about it. I can't get demonetized because we're not monetized. So we actually haven't got to worry about that too much. Don't worry, I'm not about to keep singing. Not about to keep singing. It's actually quite thick at the front there, thicker than I wanted. Like a lot of things in life. That's what she said. Wow. There's the matter with me today. So that's a really nice piece of wood that I've used in quite a few tanks. There was another piece that came out, which I've subsequently lost, just keeping with the theme of things. But that is probably going to be it. I've just noticed that this horrendous LED flappy lid that I haven't taken off might be in the way of our outstanding value Nicrew. Huh. We need another rock? I don't think so. In my head there was only one. But my head is stupid. I like one. I really think I like one. I got a ton of this, I just don't know where it is. Guess what? I misplaced it. Yeah, I'm sticking with one. Yeah, definitely. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. And unfortunately, yeah, without the plants, that kind of is it. What on earth is happening over there? Oh, the Hillstream Roach has escaped. Hang on. Well, now that's sorted. The Nicrew is in. Now, this is what I was fearing. This is touching the top, which isn't the end of the world, but it's gonna just make things a pain in the padded ass. And it's on some little pin, which you can only access from one side. Now, I'm not the most patient person in the world. I think that might just get ripped off. Not today, though. I mean, look at it. Yeah, that's just it's begging to just be torn off. But not today, okay? I won't do that to it today. Oh, I think maybe we need to change the Nicrew. Okay, so at the moment, that's what's happened. Put the filter over on this side. Gotta put this god-awful, ugly-ass heater in there, which I haven't cleaned, and it's because I'm lazy. Oh, that's the holder's bigger than the heater by quite some margin. It's ugly, but it would do the trick. You know, like I said, this is not a beautiful aquascape. Okay, that is pretty much where I want it. Now we've got to get some water in there. Right, so even though these are not part of the plan, hey, check it out. What I've done is a stroke of genius. Because I am convinced that Mrs. Shrimp stole my tweezers. She must never know about this, but I have stolen the tweezers to her sweets. I know. Pinky and the Brain got nothing on me. water is so murky because of my genius idea to put water in first, I can't even see what I'm doing. So when the water clears, this will be just as much of a surprise for me as it is for you, which is excellent. You always want that in an aquascape, right? Absolute no idea what's going to happen. Playing very fast and loose with the term aquascape there. Yes, I'm aware. Right, I think that is about all we're going to do with it, because there's no other plants that I want to put in there. Didn't even actually want those in. And I think it's Crypt Parva, but it has been so long that I don't know. I'm actually going to use the water that I took out first off. This is my DIY filler. It's literally just some 1-inch grade PVC with a ball joint connected to a power head, which is in a tub just behind me. This is what I use to refill all the tanks. This room is on the first floor, so it's 10-litre containers all the way up to a 60-litre container, and then it's pumped from the 60. And if you think that's bad, the RO comes from outside, so it's a bit of a trek. I think actually what I'm going to do with that filter is take that silly little cartridge out, and I'm just going to stick a load of filter wool in there to start with and see if it can clear this up. I've got one thing I hate about hang-on backs is the fact that the water, the sediment, the sand, all the grit that's going to wear your impeller out gets to your impeller before it goes through any sort of filtration. Badly designed internal filters do the same thing. But another concern I have is that I don't fill this anywhere near the top. I mean, who does fill what is supposed to be an open top tank anywhere near the top? Which means that there is always going to be a little bit of a trickling noise coming from that filter. Right, so we're about 3 hours into operation, and it is clearing up. It's cleared up a lot. It's got a long way to go still. The filter's doing a fairly good job. Now, I'm aware that this filter has only been up and running for about 3 hours. And I did take out the cartridge and put in filter floss, because this little thing, I mean, this has got no chance of filtering out the cloudiness. But after just 20 minutes, that was gopping. The filter's not that bad. Now, I understand that it might break in the next 20 minutes, but it's okay. The downside is that the pump, which it says is capable of 160 litres an hour, which I believe, is too powerful for its own chamber. So that is your limiting factor where modifying comes into it. You cannot pack that full of media because it will offer too much resistance and then overflow, and it will overflow. You don't need to pack that much media into it though. If you watch the basic series, you understand why you don't really need to put media in your filters. All you need a filter to do is move water and provide oxygen in the water. So mechanical and chemical filtration, yeah, that's a plus side to a filter. We've got tanks here that run nothing but an air stone, not even an air sponge, because that's all biological bacteria needs. So for a little bit more explanation on that, go back and watch the basic series. They're not fun, but they're informational. the male inhabitant. He is lucky to be alive, and he's having a bit of a sulk at the moment. But you can see the coloration. That is quite honestly the worst looking garden-eye killifish I've ever seen. Unfortunately, at the auction in Wales, you don't get to see them before you bid. And I thought, well, I'll take a chance. It was a buyer's market that day because nothing was selling for what it should have. And I got the guys very cheap. It's a trio. It's one male, two females. There's one of the females. I can't help but think, what on earth did I do that for? I got rid of Australian killies, which are infinitely better looking than these examples for sure. For these, and I do regret it. Will I bother trying to breed these? Probably not. They will probably just leave us at the first available opportunity. But yeah, the male lucky to be alive. Kind of my fault. He was in a Lowell's breeding box, sat in one of the other tanks, just whilst I was rushing through that half an hour to get this turned around. And yeah, like I said, we're on the first floor. On my way up the staircase. Oh, what on earth is that? Yeah, it was him. He jumped out of his little breeding box, clear of the tank, straight down to the ground floor. Probably got a bit of a headache. So plant-wise, we obviously have our Pogostem and Healthorite. Some very, very clinging on for dear life Cryptocorn albida brown. The slowest crypt known to man to grow, Crypt parva. And this is Pink Flamingo, which I didn't realize was still in here. Obviously, it's not been flourishing because it's been covered in spawning mops. But yeah, I thought we'd chuck that back in. So the plants have now been ordered. And, well, you'll either see it in a second or in a second video. Obviously, this still needs to clear up, so it'll probably be a second video.